3 kWh for 7,000 Australian install. Per kilowatt hour of storage, 1/10 that price over a couple of years. Just incredible price reductions. This is the install price of a kilowatt hour, a large battery at a household level, 1/10 of what the going rate was just 2 or 3 years ago. So this market is evolving unbelievably quickly. Everyone said, oh, isn't it fantastic to have a motor car with this big battery? Well, you can get the same bigger storage capacity than my motor car has for $7,000 installed as a stationary battery. So batteries, storage, surely this is where we're just going to see massive increases in supply everywhere. I've kind of increasingly become disinterested in policy support for energy transition. I think often government makes it worse when they intervene. The economics of clean production now is pretty much there across technology, across market. And government can help by taking barriers out of the way, but not necessarily putting their hands in customers' or taxpayers' pockets to actually facilitate. If anything, I think what we're seeing in Australia is this much slower progress than the government intended. And I think that's largely as a consequence of government policy. Contrary to what they're seeking to do, the suppliers are sitting on their hands waiting for government to cough up more. If they didn't feel government was going to cough up more, I think they'd be rushing to compete with each other. Electricity supply is not just about in the whole supply chain. Previously, many people were willing to concede that the natural monopoly lay in network elements. It still does lie there for many customers, but for an increasing proportion of customers, it's not there anymore. Customers can choose for substantial parts of the time as to whether they purchase from the natural monopoly element at all. And I think increasingly, without terribly much additional innovation and change in demand and change in supply, they'll be able to rejig things to be able to get off to the grid. Previously, many people were willing to concede that the natural monopoly lay in network elements. It still does lie there for many customers, but for an increasing proportion of customers, it's not there anymore. Customers can choose for substantial parts of the time as to whether they purchase from the natural monopoly element at all. And I think increasingly, without terribly much additional innovation and change in demand and change in supply, they'll be able to rejig things to be able to get off to the grid.
Yeah, I think as a warning, maybe that its time has come, governments and regulators should tell the distribution companies, especially saying, listen, your license has a sunset clause of 2035. We are giving you 20 years warning. So our 2045 saying, please be prepared. Don't come crying back that we didn't give you enough warning.
I think that's quite right. Exactly. You have many excellent ideas. Yeah, I agree. Putting flesh on that bone is very important now.
Yeah, I mean, give them warning because they will come from the fairness we were not told. So if you give them a 20 years notice saying, hey, as of 2045, distribution will no longer be a natural monopoly in Victoria. We take the right to reconsider at that time.
Yeah, I think that will radically shake them up and they will seriously consider corporate strategy and business strategy, not just treating the energy regulator as their client and going through the long, tedious process of extracting rent, but actually making some serious commercial decisions.